Alright, and as you guys probably know by now, I take my fish very seriously. I take their fish care very seriously, and there's nothing that drives me more up a wall than when people just have these flat-out lies about fish care that ends up killing their fish and just really badly shortening their lifespan. But honestly, there's no judgment. There's nobody in the hobby that hasn't done something seriously wrong that ended up killing their fish. I know I ended up killing 2 bettas because I made all the same mistakes I'm about to teach you not to do. You have 3 must-haves, and I promise these are not expensive at all. The first of which being the tank. This is like the most important thing, and it's what everybody gets wrong. Your bettas cannot live in a bowl. Bowls are completely the wrong shape. They're not the right size. What you really are looking for is a nice, shallow, wide-opening 5-gallon minimum. Although I personally recommend at least a 10 to 20-gallon tank, simply because they're easier to care for. Think about it. If I was going to keep you in a body of water for about a week and you had to pee in it, which would you prefer, the swimming pool or a bathtub? Probably the swimming pool. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but you're going to feel less like you're peeing on yourself. The other 2 things is your heater. Just go to the store, pick up a nice, whatever cheap one, they should be about $3, set it to 78 to 80 degrees, and you're good to go. And even if you have a house that's at about that temperature, you still want to get the heater, because if your air conditioner turns on or whatever, in this small of a tank, your temperature is going to go all over the place. The other big thing is that you do need a filter. And I personally recommend just getting the sponge filter because they're cheap, they have a slow current, they're pretty much ideal for these small tanks. After that, it's really what you want it to be. Make the tank, your own personal thing. We'll start with the substrate though. You can have completely nothing in your bottom of your tank. It's the easiest to clean, but it's kind of the most boring. A lot of people have gravel. I personally don't recommend it because the poop ends up going and just sitting in the bottom and it's really hard to clean. Sand is the ideal thing. It's cheap. You can go to the store and pick up some pool filter sand for about $5. And it's easy to clean just like the bare bottom, but it also comes in a wide range of colors so you get the fun look of gravel. The other choice you have is if you want to have plants or not. Well, something this small, your plants are never going to be able to stop you from having to do water changes. But it can, however, stop your tank from crashing in the middle of the night and killing your fish, because nothing sucks than having to flush your fish down the drain. And add your touch. If you're like me and you want the planted tank, go for it. Or if you're like Jeremy and you like SpongeBob, it's an option too. Whatever you want, go for it. The big thing to keep in mind is nothing sharp, because you're basically going to give your betta paper cuts all along its body. The other thing is you need it to be food safe. If you're not willing to store food in it or with it, don't put it in your tank. But if you have any questions about if it's going to be tank safe or not, or if you have an action figure that you want to put in there, just cover it in pond epoxy and you're good to go. Now, you already have this big giant setup now, and you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to have just one fish. But you have options. If you want more than one betta, you can have more than one betta. Just put a divider. Just keep in mind that you need to have the 5 gallons of space. You can either, you put the divider in, you're good to go. Your other choices are shrimp. I personally recommend these if you have just the 5 gallon. They're small, they're non-intrusive, they do add a little bit of color, they come in a wide range, you can get everything from blue to red to clear. And your bettas more than likely are not going to have any issue with them. Your second choice, if you have the sandy bottom like I do, are cories. These come in a wide range too, you can mix and match them. But you do need to have a school of them, at least 3 of these, but I personally recommend more because they're cute. But they do come in a wide range of colors. If you're willing to have a bigger tank, you can spring for the tetra or ghost catfish. It's one or the other because they do occupy the same space. But they do add a nice flare of color. You're more likely going to have the tetra in your tank, but because everybody has them. Ghost catfish are more expensive. But the big thing with both of these two is that once again, they are schooling fish. For both of them, you need about 7 of them. And that's it. It's really not difficult, nor is it expensive to set up a proper betta tank. All you need is just a good tank. You really do water changes. Make it your own and you will love it. The whole thing should cost you less than $50, and your fish is going to live for about 6 to 8 years, opposed to the couple months that everybody seems to think their betta is supposed to be.